I started having issues with mental health, depression, anxiety, ADHD at about 14. And I used a lot of alcohol in order to kind of mask that sort of stuff. So that was something that for a long time I didn't really talk about the substance abuse side, because I told people, like, you would think I was too young to have a real problem. I think a lot of times as adults, we have a really great knack of kind of minimizing what youth go through, and to adults, it was, oh, you weren't alcoholic. You just were a typical teenager. You were a high school kid. It's like, no, it was a lot worse. I knew I was using it to mask things because I didn't know what was wrong with me. I didn't know that I had a mental health disorder. And I just knew that I just wanted to numb all this weird pain I was feeling all the time that I couldn't turn off. One of the most horrible things about mental health and addiction is that it can feel so isolating. You can feel so alone. Even in the rational part of your brain, when you sit there and say, I know I'm going through something that a lot of people struggle with, it doesn't matter. There's this weird way of it still feeling so unique, because doing anything alone is overwhelming. It's exhausting. And if you don't have support, well, you can't do anything on your own. Everyone needs help in some way at some point. Everyone's journey is different, and everyone's journey is unique. Even if something worked for me, I'm not really going to push anyone into that and say, oh, you got to do this, or what you really got to do is this. I know that the biggest thing is someone's in recovery when they say they are, and you meet people where they're at. And that's the same with clients in a clinical setting, working with peers, day to day, and even just having that conversation with other people when they bring it up. I think it's just because a lot of times if we don't have experience with it and it's unfamiliar to us, we're afraid of it and we don't want it and we reject it. And it sounds awful to say to people, if you have, like when I have conversations about harm reduction and what that means, and some people will say, oh, it's giving people a free pass to keep using. I look at it like it's doing whatever we can in the most realistic way to make sure that person lives just one more day. And hope that one more day is the day they decide for themselves and no one else that they want to get into recovery and work on their recovery. That's it. Take the politics out of it, take a personal opinion out of it. It's just trying to keep people alive. And what's nice is that it's been so long that there's tons of actual data and research that shows that things like harm reduction work. People are 5 times more likely to get into long-term recovery, 2 times less likely to relapse. Like all these sorts of things that you sit there and say, okay, science, right? Like this works. And all I try and do nowadays is have conversations with people who have differing points of view in an effort to learn. While I might not agree with your opinion, I want to understand why you feel the way you do. And I think that's important, is to have that conversation about things. And thankfully, now we're able to have these transparent conversations in my house we weren't really able to have growing up, being Puerto Rican. Nothing against my parents. They're amazing. They loved me. They supported me. They just didn't have the tools and the language to understand what I was going through. Generationally, culturally. And I don't fault them for that. But now, in my house, we understand what it is to say, hey, I'm just having a crappy day. And we understand that. We make it a point to, if we need something, be specific. Do you need the vent? Do you need me to help in some way and get involved? Do you need me to just be an ear and not talk? And that we're able to support each other in the best way possible. And that's been huge for me. My name is Jose Rosado, and I am thankful for every day that I'm in recovery, and I will not be stopped by the stigma of addiction.